What's up, everybody? Okay, all right. Uh, let's get into it, all right? This is inspired by trolls who, of course, want to know what I think about the Grammys and all that shit. You know I don't care, but Jay Electronica, the one thing he said, the best thing he ever said, he's got 11 Grammy nominations. Y'all not equal. Man, fuck these white people. My grandma died at 82 scrubbing floors, and niggas still running around begging for awards. That ain't the truth, huh? All right. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about the Grammys, okay, in general. And you know that I don't care about the Grammys. I've been on record saying this. I don't think hip hoppers care about the Grammys at all. Like hip hop fans, I know that vultures and I know that casuals who are into rap and that kind of thing, or who want the prestige, quote unquote, who pretend to be into hip hop but really are pop. They want that, and I get it. And I also can understand a rapper who is in the business who can see like legit, maybe financial and marketing benefits from getting a Grammy. I can understand them wanting it, but as a fan, I have no interest in it, and I'll tell you why. Number one, I don't care about award shows in general. I love the Oscars though, and I'll get into why I like the Oscars. But in general, here's my issue with award shows, or I should say, I'm going to talk specifically about the Grammys and the Oscars put together. They're judging art. Okay, we all know that art is subjective. Now, we also do know that art has an objective aspect to it. It's something that people don't often talk about. But of course, that judgment is never, in fact, discussed in either of these award shows, right? There is no, hey, we're voting for Best Picture or we voted Best Screenplay because we objectively think that this is the best screenplay. And here's how we decided that that was. We looked at this, and we hit this criteria, and that's why we chose it. No, you just see the chose. The end result is whatever gets chosen. Now that's okay and well for somebody who is not, into the craft or doesn't care about the craft. But if you're an artist and you care about craft, something like that is obviously going to rub you, like not even so much to rub you the wrong way, but you're going to look at it and go like, well, I can't really take this too seriously because ultimately, A, it's subjective, but more importantly, there is no criteria here that's been discussed and shared with anybody, and it's business, right? That's really the big issue. All this stuff is promotion and marketing. So if I know that a certain artist or a certain film company is going to be spending money to get that awards recognition, and they're willing to put that money aside and they have the money to put that aside, then they're probably going to win that award over someone else. And that's what it boils down to. So again, my artist mind doesn't care. It's just that simple. Okay? So you have something that ultimately has very little to do with the craft of the art and much more to do with the business connections and the promotion of said art, right? And those are two different things. Okay, so that's one side of it. And then, of course, now, do I think that making one art better than the other, I think is fine. I actually have no problem with competition. I think competition in the arts is a great thing, and people should be competitive. I think, in fact, one of the big reasons why art has become so trash in the last, I would argue, 20, 30 years is the competition is gone. Genuine competition. It's now cloud and a lot of it is, again, it's this worship of people who have already made it, quote unquote, especially the legends. And I think all that's so weak, and that's why a lot of stuff is so pathetic. Now, so from an artistic perspective, I kind of don't care, right? Especially with some of the quality of the stuff that people are putting out. Now, I like the Oscars because the Oscars, I think, are beautiful. I think that the actual pomp and pageantry of the Oscars, the venue, the look, the way that it's all kind of set up, and I really like the fact that you get to hear from the people who are behind the scenes on these movies that don't get the shine. Because yes, actors are front and center when it comes to films, and that's understandable. I don't quite have a problem with it in a way. That's a longer conversation. I do think that we've seen throughout history that actors are actually they're the ones that bring people. They bring bums in the seats. It's just the fact of the matter. Going way back to 1904, right, in the early stages of this film business. So if an actor is bringing bums to seats, they definitely deserve to be compensated for that. And frankly, if the film is being written off their backs, then yes, they are the face of it. It's the human connection aspect. Again, never underestimate how deep the human connection goes and how much people will like something because it looks like them, right? Eminem? This is human behavior. We know this for a fact. So again, when people pretend like race doesn't matter, I know that these people are lying to me. They're doing the taqiyya thing, the Islamist thing. They're lying because we all know that looks matter. They really do matter. Fortunately and unfortunately, it is what it is. So the point is, I like the Oscars because at least I get to hear from the costume designer. I get to hear from the sound editor, the screenwriter, because the screenwriter is a massive part of what makes a great film. The director, I get to hear from the creative folk because film is a collaborative medium. Okay? What I don't see, and I'm not so familiar with the Grammys, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually don't see the Grammys talk about who the mixers are or who I don't know, the audio guy is, the audio recorder or whatever. Like, I don't get to see it. It's all about the artist. It's kind of a little narcissistic to me because again, music is collaborative. Now, you could argue that music is a little less collaborative, and I can kind of agree with that compared to film, where you have massive budgets and massive workmen and workwomen, a lot of people involved. But still, music is collaborative. There's a reason why when you look at the greatest rap albums ever recorded, they weren't recorded in a vacuum, right? Like, as great as Nas is, there's multiple people that made that Illmatic project phenomenal, right? And so if the Grammys doesn't celebrate most of those people, obviously they should celebrate Nas, I get it. But if they're not going to celebrate the producers, the A&Rs, let's give the A&Rs their credit. We're Jewish, by the way. I think that's interesting, by the way. But if they don't celebrate the people behind the scenes that made that album come to life, then, it's a little kind of self-centered, in my honest opinion. And that's why I prefer the Oscars, because at least I get that dose of reality in a way. And it's nice to hear from people who, sometimes you be looking at these movies. These are individuals who've been doing costume designs for 30 years, 40 years, right? And they have these interesting speeches. They're masters of their craft. And so I like that. But that's kind of where it ends for me. I don't really put much stock into what is actually selected, especially these days, because of just how, frankly, business cutthroat it's become, and how much of it is just literal promo and very little to do with the quality of the art. Okay? Now, going back to the Grammys, you could say, well, Doechii, Kendrick won a Grammy. Why are you hating? Well, it's not about Kendrick or Doechii, as much as, again, y'all would want me to put them on a pedestal as though, like, I hate them. I don't care about them. Like, they're not really important. I just don't pay attention to the Grammys in general, and I never have. So I thought, look, this is actually a great opportunity for me to kind of look at the Grammy nominations, because this is really the first time. And now that I have Wikipedia, again, I was in Saudi Arabia, so I couldn't even if I wanted to necessarily follow the Grammys, I couldn't, So I just never grew up caring about it. And now with Wikipedia, it's so easy to find out who was nominated and all that kind of shit. And so I can actually kind of go into this and, raise a critical eye. But I will tell you this much. I grew up not caring. I grew up listening to rap records, and rap records barely mentioned it. I know Jazzy probably mentioned it like once, maybe on the Blueprint. I don't even remember. But it wasn't something culturally that everybody was paying attention to, because frankly, if it was, I would have been up on it, because that's how hip hop was. Like, no matter how far you were, if something was really that important in hip hop, like, people were up on it. The audience was up on it. So you have to understand my perspective here when it comes to Grammys. I don't like, or I should say I don't care about the Grammys, because truth be told, aside from it being the business aspect of it, they haven't really nominated, in my honest opinion, they haven't nominated the best acts. And if you're not nominating the best acts in an art form, like just the acts that people go, whoa, this act is incredible, then it's hard for me to take you seriously. I mean, let's be real here. It's almost like, my perception of the Grammys is that, okay, Michael Jackson won a bunch of them. Michael Jackson's incredible, one of the greatest artists ever, sure. But I don't know what else they're really known for. I'm pretty sure in the rock and roll space, and y'all who are rock and roll fans would have to tell me if this is the case, I'm gonna imagine that they nominated the best rock and roll acts on some level. They must have, because it's the Grammys, it's white, so they would have at least, like the Beatles. Would the Beatles have gotten a bunch of Grammys? They won, okay, their 8th Grammy 5 decades before. How many Grammys did the Beatles get? Okay, they got some Grammys, right? Like they're gonna, they're gonna nominate their own stuff, right? So my point is, like, it's hard for me to take you seriously if you don't nominate what I consider to be, and not just me, really, but really, like, the culture, what we consider to be the best stuff. It's not nominated, and you don't have a history of doing that, and worse, and a racist history of ignoring and downplaying. Like, then it's like, okay, why should I care your opinion? But let's go down the list, right? Now, from what I understand, this started with, right, the best rap performance. Okay, Kendrick's face. Okay, so Kendrick won this. Now, going back to 1989, right, Jazzy Jeff was the first one to win. Now, the best rap performance, I never really, to be honest with you, I don't really understand what they mean by that. It can go to, goes to the artist. Okay, so it's like just, I guess, someone, like, what does that even mean? It's just, again, like, does it mean like best flow? Like, is best rock? Like, what does that mean? Okay, so listen. Shout out to Will Smith, but I just don't think that Will Smith had the best rap performance in 1989. I just don't believe that shit. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so what came out? Supersonic. That was okay. Wild Wild West. That was okay. Going back to Cali. That was okay. Push It. Push It is probably the best song of the bunch, if you ask me personally. But even then, like, you already see where we're getting on weird footing here. Now, I'm trying to think in 89. Was Big Daddy Kane out in 89 in terms of... No, okay. Big Daddy Kane's first album came out in 88, I believe. So, let's see. Let's look at rap in 1989, right? So, who did you have out? De La Soul, 3 Feet High, of course. You mean to tell me that De La Soul wouldn't, like, now, again, okay. I also know that this is where it gets complicated because, again, there's usually like a year behind, right? So maybe I should be looking at the best rap in 1988 because typically that's how these things go. Let's assume, okay? I mean, 88 was a crazy year, right? Look, you're talking about Slick Rick, Long Live the Kane, NWA, Follow the Leader, Rakim, BDP, APMD, Strictly Business, Light as a Rock, Critical Beatdown. It Takes a Nation. Like, are you kidding me? Look, all of these albums, every one of these albums is a hip-hop classic of sorts, or at least has a classic song on that shit. Something where you could be like, yeah, that was a crazy year. You mean to tell me that, out of all that stuff, this is the best stuff you can find? You see where I'm coming? Like, so why would I care? Right? Now, okay, I see. Again, it is a year back because Young MC won for Bust a Move. Which is, again, it's okay. It's pop, right? See, the rap Grammys have always been pop. Grammys are pop. Again, like, we've been known this, king of pop. Again, Michael Jackson, in my honest opinion, put the Grammys on anyway. I mean, the Grammys were a thing before Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, of course, put it on. Like a lot of things. Michael Jackson put a lot of these people on an extra pedestal. Michael Jackson was pop music. He just happened to be arguably the greatest pop artist ever, and just in sheer brilliant pop music. But if I know that the Grammys are pop, why? And I know that rap is not pop. If you call it that, then stop. then why would I care about what the Grammys think about anything rap related? They're doing what they've always done, and it's okay, but they are pop. And so if Kendrick is winning awards left, right, and center, and Kanye is winning awards left, right, and center, what does that tell you about Kendrick and Kanye? They're pop. That's kind of been my argument with them the whole time. They're not for me. They're made for a pop casual audience. And they're not even really good at that either. But the fact is, they're good for pop. If you are into casual listening, but if for a rap fan like myself, I don't listen to that shit. I would never listen to that shit. It's too boring. It's too bland. Too weak. Right? So in this year, for example, of what was nominated, Me, Myself, and I, classic. Classic. I think I can beat Mike Tyson. Funny record, but no. Fight the Power. Come on. Classic. Funky Cold Medina is a dope song. Actually, I would say that these are pretty good choices, again, if you're looking for more of a pop-oriented rap. And the fact that they put Fight the Power on there, honestly, man, shows you how big this record was in the street. Because it was, again, that's the thing about pop people. Like, they don't want to seem, even though they don't care about the street, they also, like, they want to, like, they always have that look back where it's like, I can't be caught out here lacking. I can't be caught out here with my pants down. So, okay, all right, let me try and toss in something that like might be genuine, sort of. Fight the Power was huge. But again, 1990, so that means rap in 1988, in 1989, I should say. What was out in 1989? Top hip-hop songs in 1989. Fight the Power, right? Light as a Rock. Oh, Cha-Cha-Cha, sorry. Oh, yeah, Cha-Cha-Cha, crazy. No. So What You Saying? It's one of my favorite songs ever, right? That should have been nominated. So, Doechii I don't care about. This is actually a really good record. Ice-T, you played yourself. It's probably my favorite Ice-T record. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, come on, man. Special Ed I Got It Made is better than Bust a Move. We still play Bust a Move. Or I'm sorry, we still play Special Ed. People still say I'm your idol, your highest title, numero uno. I'm not a Puerto Rican, but I'm speaking sort of chuno. Right? Like, people still say that. Lil' Kim said that shit. Like, in one of her songs, I'm trying to remember the name of. Like, people still flip that. Nobody's flipping Bust a Move. Again, you see the difference? Culture versus pop, mainstream, white. Okay? This is, I have to break it down. It's so basic, but it's so obvious what I'm saying here. Manifest was dope. Ladies First is dope. Warming Up, Kane. Warming Up. This was cool. Road to Riches is dope. Just a Friend is dope. You Must Learn. You Must Learn. That was okay. The Big Payback. DLC. I'm not crazy about DLC. I don't think I've ever heard the song. Brooklyn Queens. Anyway. Oh, Do What You Like. I love this song. This is a super classic. Bro, like this song and video, I would argue, to me, this is one of the best videos of the 80s. Hands down in hip hop. Hands fucking down. Like, whoever shot this, I don't know who shot this video. You deserve all the props. So, amazing record. Again, that should have been nominated. If we're going with what the culture likes. But we're talking about the Grammys, white pop. Yeah, Bust a Move was huge. I mean, it was a Billboard hit. And I can see why it's on the list. And actually, to be fair, like, it's not like these botted songs, you know what I'm saying? It was a genuine hit. Bust a Move was a hit. So shout out to Young MC. And so then the category, I guess, disappears for a while, and they bring it back in 2012. So anyway, this list gets really long, and I kind of we'll come back to it maybe. But the point is, you kind of see where I can go. Like, already you can get a vibe of like just how different or how out of touch really the Grammys are when it comes to hip hop versus pop and versus what the culture likes. And they can cover that up and put a band-aid on it and get a couple of people to essentially sort of as a buy-in. But then you have to understand, to me, I look at it like, okay, now that you've gotten, I don't want to put names out there and shit on people, but the point is, now that you've gotten certain people who are now voting, and sing as though it's like this revamped rap group. They're coming in with their best interests, with their own interests, right? Because again, they're not coming in to celebrate what the best rap album is. They're coming in to put on their mans in them, right? So that's why you're seeing. All right, that's why you're seeing Doechii on the list. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why you're seeing certain people. Like, you're just like, huh? Like, who is this? You know what I mean? Like, and and now this is where the plants come in, because it's like you can get the person nominated for a Grammy. Most people have no idea who this person is, but now they're gonna check out the mixtape or the album because they feel like this person is destined for success, and the plants and the bots can come and make it a celebration. And then when you point out that this person is actually whack as fuck, you're the hater because their movement is organic, but you so organic that I haven't heard a song I never heard of you until you got nominated. Again, you see what I'm saying? It's business, man. I'm not gonna be mad at them, but like I'm not gonna dick ride them either. You know. Um, let's see who else was nominated in '96. Okay, so this is rap album. Um, I love Naughty by Nature, but I don't remember what was on Poverty's Paradise, except for maybe Feel Me Flow. Was on that? Feel Me Flow, classic, classic song, classic video, the whole thing. But I would argue nobody listened to the rest of these. Maybe Craziest, maybe, but I don't think anybody listened to this album. Let's be honest. In 1996, this is not the best rap album. They were probably rewarding Naughty by Nature for like OPP, which was a huge record, like On the Street. Look, I heard OPP is one of the first rap songs I ever heard. I was a kid singing "You Down OPP," and I loved that shit. I mean, I had no idea what it meant, but I loved it. That song was huge. And it was a brilliant song, still a brilliant song. That's a genuine classic. So I don't believe, though, that they deserve the Grammy, but I'm not, not going to hate on Tretch and the, KG and them. I'm just saying they know what I'm talking about. Okay, they're hip hop guys. They know what I mean. Again, they deserve what comes to them, of course, because they have put out legendary material. But if we're being honest about what was out in 1996, or I should say 1995, right? Because it's the year before. 1995 is Cuban Links, Liquid Swords, Infamous. Like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? You're not nominating the best shit. So, again, why would anybody with a brain tell me that I'm supposed to believe that Kendrick Lamar or Doechii or whatever they nominate is the best shit in hip hop, when the Grammys have no record of nominating the best shit ever? And in fact, if anything, they have nominated the more pop-leaning, casual-oriented material. That's the truth, man. In '97, okay, so Fugees win the score. Now, again, I think that's a perfect selection. I actually agree with that selection. Not that it was the best album of 1996, but in terms of that album was huge. I was around. I remember that. That album was huge. I remember seeing people who I didn't even think they even listened to rap with the score. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd go to the houses and you'd be like, huh? I remember my parents had this one guy, the friend of them, like some white couple from like Australia or something like that. We go to the house and I remember seeing like this. I was like, huh? It's like the only rap record they probably ever bought in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, the score was huge. So I get it. Again, All Eyes on Me, huge. Pocket Just Died, huge, right? So that makes sense. But you're not going to tell me that the score and All Eyes on Me are the best rap albums of 1996. I just don't believe that. Now, okay, All Eyes on Me, you could make a run for it, maybe. The score was cool. It was a good album. Like, it had some dope stuff on it. But again, it's kind of more pop. 96 would have been Iron Man. I'd take that. Hip hop albums 96. Royal Flush was 96, I believe. Damn, these albums be running together, man. Muddy Waters was 96. It Was Written. Wasn't even nominated. It Was Written wasn't nominated. Like, and I'm not even like a huge it was written guy like that, but it was written is definitely better than Gangsta's Paradise. Like, come on, you know. But again, Gangsta's Paradise's song was massive. I heard that too, even though I was never really into it. So you get to see how there's a specific running line here. Um, Hell on Earth. Oh my God, Hell on Earth. Hell on Earth. One of the greatest rap. Like, I mean, now shout out. Had a conversation with an OG about this, about Mobb Deep in general. But the point is, like, Hell on Earth is phenomenal. Do I think it's like the greatest rap album ever? No, it can't be. It's a little too one dimensional. But in terms of their content and even the feel of their songs, but in terms of like just the sheer production ingenuity and the vibe and the feel and the rhymes, like it's incredible. It's a superb rap album. Top 20, top 30, whatever, top 50, I don't know. But the point is, that's a better album than I would take Hell on Earth over the Score any day. But would your average casual listener? No, of course not. Because what, some grandmother's gonna put on God Part 3? Come on, come on. They're gonna put on Killing Me Softly, man. You know what I mean? So again, this is what we're dealing with here. Okay? I mean, you only have to look at this stuff for what it is before it starts to become really obvious. So I don't want to take you guys too long here, but you'll see a pattern. Puffy, come on. Diddy in '97, best album of '97 is No Way Out. Really? Super Duper Fly is way better than No Way Out. No way better. Life After Death, way better. Wu-Tang Forever, that was okay. But you know what I'm saying? Now, in 90, okay, so this would have been the best rap album of, let's say, 98, right? Because Hard Knock Life Volume 2 came out in 98. Now, of these that are nominated, I actually think that this was the best choice. Because again, Jay-Z, that's that Timbaland, Swizz Beats. This is where Jay figured out how to make records that were both street and commercial sounding in a way at the same time. And actually, I would argue not just commercial sounding, because it didn't sound like whatever was out in 1999 and 1988. Let's be very clear here, because people now will make songs that sound like Chappelle Ronan and shit and Sabrina Carpenter, right? And then go, well, Jay-Z was doing commercial stuff. No. There's a huge difference, okay? What I'm talking about is Jay-Z wasn't sounding like Shania Twain. He wasn't doing Shania Twain beats and shit. He was just making songs that were so street, but at the same time, somebody who wasn't like super deep into hip hop culture could hear the song and go, whoa, I like that beat. I like the vibe of that song. I like that hook. That's the difference. You get what I'm saying? And the perfect example, of course, is the song itself, Hard Knock Life. Okay? Hard Knock Life doesn't sound like anything mainstream at that time. Okay? Let's just get that out the way. So now, of course, then the Grammys, have their hard on for Eminem, and it just continues, and that's just what it is, and a lot of stuff gets ignored. So the point is this: I have this is my first time even seeing this stuff. Honestly, like I grew up as a hip hop head, very close to hip hop. I don't even know half the stuff. I didn't realize that Harlem World was even nominated for a Grammy. Seen Puff down at the Grammys. Something show up with no panties. No panties. Oh my God, the line is coming to me. The "Looking at Me" song, which I haven't heard in a minute, but it's just certain records just get imprinted in your brain. Then Puff down the Grammys. Tell me something that I don't know. Like, if we have sex you don't want, though. It's a great question. All right, let's look at this. This, again, we get it. Now the question is, to wrap this all up. Oh, rap solo performance. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay attention to this. Again, this is all the same. It's the same point that I'm making over and over again. So I'm trying to see. Oh yes, when they brought it back. in 2012, which means it would have gone back for 2011 and things like that. Now, this is what I think is really interesting. See, again, why I talk about ASAP Rocky. Notice if you look at 2012, what was being nominated for 2012, which means a year before, right? Look at the sound of the stuff. Black and Yellow, Moment for Life. I remember these songs. I don't care about them. The Show Goes On, I never even heard. I don't think anyone listens to that shit. Look at Me Now. Listen to, that's 2011. Black and Yellow, that's 2011. And then look at what Rocky dropped. That's why I was like, what the fuck is this? Rocky changed the game. All that, that's all that shit. I'm telling you, I was listening to Pretty Flacco when it came out, and I was like, oh my god, like this is a completely different bounce than what everyone else is doing. You know what I mean? And it's harder and it's grittier, and that's where rap ended up, moving towards pretty quickly actually. And we're still kind of there, all things considered. It was very, very pop, very weak. So all of these are best rap performance, Grammys. Um, that's funny. And Macklemore winning for Thrift Shop. What are you gonna do? Actually, of these songs, my favorite one is "Started from the Bottom" for sure, and then Tom Ford. Tom Ford was hard. That beat was kind of hard. Look at where the bullshit starts. Kendrick Lamar wins in 2015 for a song no one plays, okay? He won over 0 to 100? Give me a fucking break. You see, again, now, but I understand. Look, we're talking about somebody who makes music, for that audience that isn't into hip hop at all. So give it to Kendrick. That's the darling. Those are the people you've selected. Totally fine. That's your whole MO. Your whole MO is you're the anti-Drake. You're the one that wins awards. That's it, right? Social media shit. I get it. But again, in the street, 0 to 100 was ringing the fuck off. At the time when 0 to 100 came out, I was a Drake, I've said this before, I was not a Drake fan. Anyone who knows me knows that I did not like Drake for a very long time. But Drake literally won me over because it just became nonstop. And for the most part, started from the bottom. And then it was like 0 to 100. It was like, then worse, it was worse behavior. It was Jumpman. I was like, oh shit, what's going on right now? I can't hate. I look stupid, right? This dude's dropping the hardest shit. So the point is, the Grammys have their thing, okay? It's clearly bought and sold, and it's part of the marketing, and it's part of Kendrick Lamar's narrative, and that's fine. I hope y'all are satisfied, okay? I don't lose no sleep when Kendrick wins the Grammy. I hope you don't either, because I feel like Kendrick stans be losing sleep when this shit happens, because then they just go up online and start botting, right? Well, the ones that are real, of course, the bots. Oh, but what about Drake? And Drake will be the first word out of their lips. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me who wins the Grammy or who doesn't win a Grammy, okay? So I think that should be where I'll end off. The last thing I will mention is, listen, at the end of the day, you have to be consistent here, okay? You can't tell me that Kendrick Lamar's Grammys are legit Grammys, if you want to look at it that way, but then tell me that Doechii is not a legit rapper or that she's a plant, because they are both on the same label and they're both going by really the same playbook, all things considered. Okay? So if you think that Doechii dropped the best rap album, last year or whatever, if you really believe that, that's fine. That you're welcome to believe that shit. But then, of course, you if you really believe that, then you believe that Kendrick dropped the best rap album or whatever. That's also fine too. But you can't tell me that Kendrick Lamar clearly dropped the best rap album of last year or made the best rap music, but Doechii didn't. She didn't make the best rap album. You'd be like, wait, what? You're picking and choosing. You're choosing to care about an artist when they win an award here, but not the whole thing. You get what I'm saying? Because once, of course, this is where the cognitive dissonance comes in. Because the moment I tell you and say Doechii made the best rap album of 2024, all of a sudden you're going to look at me a little funny, like, really? Did she really drop the best rap album of 2024? You know what I'm saying? or whatever it was that she won. And on that note, I say peace.